great masterpieces that were written by Mozart, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky were all written in the time and place that those composers lived, in the styles that were the popular styles of the day, whether it was Mozart in the high Viennese style that he was writing in, Tchaikovsky writing in this Russian style that was taking Europe by storm. These were popular styles, and they were writing in music that represented their place and their time. And my place and time is America and rock and roll and jazz and all the popular idioms that are part of my musical culture. So it's always been my goal to try to transform my technique as a string player to one that would more accurately reflect the music around me, to sound like an electric guitar, because that's the instrument that my friends from high school, all the people my age, relate to. That's what we grew up with. Guitar kind of replaced the violin as the main instrument. I'm Tracy Silverman. I play electric violin, and I'm the composer of Love Song to the Sun.
I'm Todd Winkler, and I'm the video designer on the project, and I also did the interactive programming that goes along with music.
And so I thought, if I could take the most unimportant little creature, insignificant thing that I could think of, and show how incredible his life actually is to him, all the changes that he goes through, and sort of make music that makes it operatic in size, then maybe people will look at that now a little differently and go, oh, that thing is actually alive. It's actually having an experience as rich or maybe richer than my own, and maybe they won't, kill it the next time they see it. The whole piece takes place in this 24-hour life cycle of this animal, and he's born underwater and has to fight his way up to the surface, and his whole life is directed by the sun. Basically, he's following the warmth and the light of the sun. Fights his way up to the surface, avoiding predators, transforms, metamorphoses like a butterfly into, and this is the cadenza in the middle, right in the middle of the piece, and sort of dissolves into soup and then reforms as a flying insect. And then he follows the sun again up into the air and following the sun, and mates. Then she gets eaten by a predator. And he has done his only job in life, because after they metamorphose, they don't even have a digestive system. Their only goal, they only live for a few more hours. Their only job is to mate and die. So he's mated, he lost his mate, but he's done his duty, his whole reason for being. And then he basically, instead of following the sun, he's now following the reflection of the moon into the water, and just dies peacefully in the water. And the next morning, new eggs will be born.
It's fun reading about. We did some research on the life cycle of these bugs, and then Tracy's idea of what does this bug experience and how does this bug see the world. They see different frequencies of light, and sometimes blue is purple, and there's a way that bugs see, and so that gave me some artistic license to just kind of ramp up the psychedelic aspect of this. So we don't really know what the bug sees, so we just assumed it's super psychedelic. Why not? There are some places where I'm improvising, I'm altering the colors with Tracy, and I'm sort of getting his rhythm, and I'm changing the colors and the rhythm, and there's also a section where Tracy's sound is actually affecting the processing on the computer, so every time he plays it flashes, so these sort of lines all around like sort of in a spider web or something like that.
But the idea of working with video came about. I was playing a piece up in Providence, where Brown University and where Todd lives, and played for his class. And we went out for lunch afterward, and I started telling him about this idea that I had, which is to have my image on stage to be able to transform the way I look, the way I can transform the way I sound. Like, I have pedals that can transform my sound. It can add distortion, add delays, loop it, add reverb, put it in different spaces. I can move it from one side of the stage to the other. We call that panning. So I can do all that to my sound, but I was like, what if I could do that to the way I look, so that people, because when I see myself perform, like in a video of me performing, I go like, that's not what I'm picturing in my head. It's not this guy standing there playing. I'm picturing me flying around, or me being 50 feet tall, or me disappearing or fading or doing all of these things. So I was telling that to Todd, and he's like, I can do that.
Yeah, I was working on a theater piece at the time. I've done a lot of work where I do the sound and music together for dance and theater and installations. So when Tracy, we were talking to him, I said, like, this sounds great. It's really wonderful to work with Tracy because I usually am doing the music, and I love this piece. And so for Tracy to play it and kill it every time, and I have to hear the music over and over again. I basically wrote a 40-minute film, interactive film to his music, and so I've had to listen to it hundreds of times, and I still love it. Like I get excited when this part comes up, even when I'm editing. I really enjoy it. So for me to have Tracy just do the music part and write the score and do the rehearsals, and I'm just enjoying doing the video part so much. It's really a pleasure to be able to do that.
Rogue Valley is awesome. It's really awesome here. First of all, this place has such a vibe, and the people are just, they're here because they want to be here, and it's such a wonderful, it's my kind of place, Good food, great beer, wine, all that, all the good things in life. Yeah. And Martin is fantastic. He's young and really gets the whole style of the piece, the rock and roll, the electric violin, and that there's, this, although it's kind of new in an orchestral context, to me it seems perfectly natural, and to him, I've noticed it seems perfectly natural. Like, yeah, I get it. These are the kind of people who I like to work with. I mean, I just think it's so wonderful that Rogue Valley Symphony has taken on this 50th anniversary in such an important way by commissioning 5 new works. Commissioning new music is probably, I think, I'm a composer, so I'm a little biased, but the most important thing that an orchestra can do, because there is a huge body of wonderful music that has existed, for a couple hundred years, some of it, for symphonies, but unless we start creating more music of our time and place, music that represents composers who grew up with our background, our rock and roll and jazz and classical music and film scores and video music and everything that surrounds us. This is what's really going to bring a young and a new interested audience to symphonies. And so I just think it's the most important thing in the world, and I'm incredibly grateful that you guys are taking it so seriously.